A History of the Nazi Concentration Camps, 2015, said that defiance is rare in totalitarian regimes. The opposite seems true. Since I grew up behind the Iron Curtain in East Germany, the evidence resonated deeply with me on a personal level. My experience of living in a dictatorship until the age of 29 provided me with a distinct acuity. Having been part of the cultural underground in East Berlin, my intimate knowledge of the varieties of dissident behavior, which often resulted in grave repercussions for the individual and his or her family and friends, made me intensely aware how the communist regime perceived and punished even mild expressions of individual defiance as resistance. Since the persecution in Nazi Germany was so much more brutal, how much more serious must the regime have judged and punished any acts of opposition coming from their racial enemy number one, the Jews? Knowing many people who opposed the communist government in different ways, I realized it was improbable that German Jewish men and women would not have reacted with defiance and protest to Nazi discrimination policies. Next, I dug through 2,000 court cases in the Berlin archive. Although I did not find any names from the police files in the special court, Sondergericht records, a number of new files on Jewish protest and defiance surfaced. They were again rather brief, often solely containing either an indictment or a judgment, 3 to 5 typescript pages long. Yet they would tell us a bit more about the act of resistance and the circumstances, as well as the profession and biography of the defendants. Berlin was home to the largest Jewish community in Nazi Germany, and often praised as a refuge for Jews because of its size and the potential for anonymity. Both of these factors could have enabled more resistance in the capital. Hence, I expanded my search to see if I could find similar evidence of individual Jewish protest in other places of the former German Reich. During the next years, while teaching at the University of Southern California, I spent my summer breaks in the cities of Hamburg, Frankfurt, Munich, Leipzig, and Vienna, conducting research in local archives. Unexpectedly, they offered similar rich findings about individual Jews and their protest or defiance. I combed through thousands of perpetrator documents, including police reports, Gestapo files, and prison records, as well as indictments, proceedings, and judgments from half a dozen special courts. Those sources show that Jewish Germans frequently disobeyed Nazi regulations and protested in public against the persecution, despite the imminent danger of denunciations by non-Jewish Germans and subsequent harsh punishments. It was never a lack of resources, but our wrong assumptions that prevented us from detecting traces of individual Jewish resistance. Evidence of how Jews actively responded in many other ways to Nazi measures also surfaced. Some of them were prosecuted by regular local and regional courts for their acts. I visited the Yad Vashem Archive in Jerusalem and the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum archives, which house copies of files from many German cities and towns. To complement and balance the documentation based on perpetrator files, I added a thorough examination of survivor testimonies. In these more than 170 video interviews from the Shoah Foundation Visual History Archive at the University of Southern California, some of the interviewees confirmed what I discovered in the archives, and some provided astounding stories of other types of undocumented individual resistance. A sabbatical granted by the University of Southern California in 2017-2018 gave me the time to start writing the first chapters. Ironically, the global pandemic, which changed the course of so many lives for the worse, prevented any travel in 2020, giving me the opportunity to finish the manuscript. This book aims to change the prevailing perspective of passive German Jews during the Holocaust by emphasizing their agency and illuminating the great variety of resistance acts revealed in archival documents and survivor testimony.